All right, everybody, hello, and welcome back to pressing of the button B for to make cancel. Uh, my name is GP. It has been some time since I've been able to record and play anything. In fact, the annual tradition, which is why we're here today, is to celebrate Sinistar's birthday. Now, I'm recording this a little bit early in the year. It is currently September, early to mid September, and I'm recording this for his birthday, which is November. Um, but every year he asks me to do a playthrough of a game he doesn't really know how to play or whatever is not very familiar with, in the hopes that he will either start playing it or at least have some sort of appreciation for it moving forward. This year, after the phenomenal success of our blind run of Circus Charlie last year, he's requested Mega Man X. Now, when he requested that, I said I would love to do that because I love these games. And he goes, well, how many games are there? I said, well, there's, X1, 2, or 3. I don't want to try to um, tell you which, game to request because they're all great. And he said, wonderful. Just do all 3. So this is part 1 of that for the selfish birthday boy. Happy birthday, Sinistar. I love you. You're fantastic. So, long story short here, with all the opening, I can't stand that alone. Mega Man X is not Mega Man in the future. I mean, it's a different Mega Man robot that Dr. Light, who built Mega Man, started to build, and he's like, this is way too advanced for the time. So he put X, as he calls him, Mega Man X, in like a stasis sleeping pod, and said sometime in the future somebody will find him, and they can, hopefully there will be something there that can contend with you should you go rogue. As many of the other robots in the classic Mega Man series did. So that's the abridged version. There's a lot that I'm missing. Dr. Wily, Dr. Light have both died and moved on to whatever's next. And Dr. Kane is the good doctor who discovered X in that capsule. And then, of course, Wily, before he died, developed what's called the Zero virus, which later, I guess, evolved or became a different thing called the Sigma virus. So the Sigma virus is really the main baddie of the series. But it's actually a really cool story that I wish they would advance a little bit more. But anyway, before we get into all that, let's just play the game. First things first, this is a personal preference. I go to options mode. Typically, you would scroll between your power-ups with the right and left button. But I like to dash with my... No, come on, what are you doing? I like to dash with my R button. There we are. So, that is how I choose to play it. Okay. So here we are. Mega Man X1. Game starts. I love these games. This game came out 5 years after Mega Man 2, if you can believe it. So at one point they were releasing both Mega Man X and classic Mega Man series games, I believe, unless they just pumped out a shit ton of Mega Man games in that 5 years, which I guess is possible. Okay, so X, other than being obviously more advanced than Mega Man, is capable of making his own choices. I think that's why Dr. Light put him on ice for a number of years. Oh man, I don't really know. I never really paid that close attention, and everything I know, I've already told you. This first stage is something that the X series does, just kind of introductory stages to help you get acclimated to the movements of the game. X can charge up his Mega Buster, as you can tell, which is something Mega Man did not gain the ability to do until the 4th installment, so we're already ahead there. One of the other very cool things about X is his ability to receive upgrades. So throughout the game, there are some hidden areas that have various upgrades, such as heart capsules. If you look at the left, you can see our health bar is rather short. That's our starting health, but we can increase that. Every stage has one heart capsule that will increase your maximum capabilities for life, which are, the power-ups there to refill your life are that, and then the blue ones are for your weapons energy. In sticking with classic Mega Man tradition, X can absorb the powers or, you know, obtain a new weapon depending on the bad guy that he fights. I'm not doing any speed strats, by the way. This is just going to be a fun little casual playthrough. Well, I guess if I were going to say there's some speed strat, it's probably the order in which I defeat the bad guys. There's a certain way I like to do it. I don't know if it's the fastest, but it's definitely not the probably the stock one the developers intended. Okay, here's the introduction of a bad guy named Vile, who's kind of like a dark version of Mega Man. He's pretty cool. Looks like a Mandalorian. Oh man. Why does he not have a health bar? You might be wondering. You can't beat him. Forced loss. Let's see, what else am I forgetting? Oh, so you have the heart upgrades, and there's also 4, I guess you could call them body or armor type upgrades. So throughout the 8 stages of the Mavericks, as we call them, because they've been corrupted by the Sigma virus, you can find these 4 hidden capsules, and they increase various parts of your person. So that's Zero, who was a badass, and I think if lore memory serves correct, spoiler alert, Zero was going to be Dr. Wily's version of X. Didn't quite turn out that way for him. So here are the 8 baddies. I think everybody starts with the Penguin. Instead of being like Frost Man or Lightning Man or Elect Man or whatever, we now have animals. Chill Penguin. I will explain as we advance in the game why we start with Chill Penguin. But it should be pretty obvious here in just a few minutes. Now, I think there are some achievements, Chivos, whatever you want to call them, for doing the game out of this order, where you start with the enemy to the left of Chill Penguin on that opening scene, and then just continue counterclockwise throughout the game, therefore doing Chill Penguin last. I have never cared to try that. I think it's stupid. I don't... Maybe it's not a Chivo, because I feel like I 200%ed this one, and that wasn't on there. Anyway, there's a version of something where people are like, oh yeah, do Chill Penguin last. And it just sounds like it would suck. My latest thing, whenever I have, you know, a few 10 or 15 minutes to play video games anymore, my latest thing has been that Blender application that Sig Jake gave me, where it's X1, 2, and 3, and then Mega Man 1 through 6, and then every time you take damage, it switches to one of the other games, and you have to make your way through all of them that way. So getting hit and taking damage, and then not, you know, having to switch randomly to another game, is kind of tripping me out right now. So here's the first of the capsules. And this is a beautiful song, by the way. They changed it in future versions, which they never should have. I'll give you the ability to choose your own path in life, and I hope the world would allow you to choose a peaceful one. So this is Dr. Light, the creator of X. Why nobody's come across this capsule before, I don't know. Now it seems that you are destined to fight. Because I thought the world might need a new champion. I have hidden capsules like this one. If you find and use them, you will be able to increase your powers beyond anything the world has ever known. Step into this capsule and receive my seed. Oh no, boost to your speed. Good luck, X. So I don't know if your character actually moves any faster. But what he can do is that he can dash now. So there's a couple different ways that you can perform a dash move in this game. One is by, you know, pressing the button that you have configured, the dash, which the default is the A button using Super Nintendo controllers. As mentioned at the beginning of the recording, I prefer to switch it to the R dash button. Oops. The other way that you can dash, excuse me, is... Why is my controller sucking? Yes, I know, I am blaming the controller. I don't even care. What is... There we go. The other way to dash is just to double tap the direction you would like to move. So this is why we do this one first. There are a lot of sections of the game that will not be accessible if you do not have the dash capability, and hence why that other, challenge seems so horrible. I don't think I would want to play this game without the ability to dash until, the end. I have this. I like to enter rooms that way, with my dukes put up. So here's our first of the Mavericks. This is a game that is pretty prolific, I would say, in the speedrunning community. If you had a professional speedrunner playing this game, this video would already be done. I don't know what the world record is anymore. I know it is probably, close to 45 minutes? Maybe less than that by now? I don't know. But there we are. That's the chill penguin. And he's dead. Now, one very cool thing about this game is as you're beating the various Mavericks, depending on the order in which you beat them, the following Maverick stages could be slightly different. So here in a bit, you'll see us do Spark Mandrill. Is that right? No. Which one's the... No. Here. So this is Flame Mammoth. His stage, since I've beaten the Chill Penguin level, is now frozen over. Had I not beaten Chill Penguin and just gone straight there, everything would be covered in lava. It'd be much more difficult to traverse, and certain areas would be not available. So that's cool. And they do that with a couple different things here in the game. So I think typically what people do after they do Chill Penguin is they'll go and take on Spark Mandrill, as that is what he is weak to, is the ice weapon. I prefer to come here to Sting Chameleon. And there's a couple of reasons. I'll explain them as I go. Now, you may have you may have been wondering. You may be wondering. Didn't I miss the heart capsule in Chill Penguin's stage? Yes. In order to get that particular secret, I do have to have a special weapon that I have not yet acquired. So there is some backtracking in this game. But this is, for example, an example of... No, I'm not going to be able to reach it. Never mind. But that's the area where the heart capsule is here for Sting Chameleon. And up here, we have this nice little hidden area with an optional boss that I'm going to fight real quick. And this explains or informs, at least in part, why I prefer to do this stage so early on. This is typically one of the, I would say, more difficult bad guys. It took me a while to be able to figure out how to do this particular set of stages. Sorry, in this order. Focusing. I've lost my ability to game and speak. This is horrible. I used to be so decent. Well, I say that. I could be misremembering. I may have always sucked at streaming and talking. But always had fun. I do so miss doing the retro therapy. It was such a good time in my life in many ways. Okay. So we got him taken down. And there's the other capsule. So we're going to get this. Capsule contains a new type of body armor. So we'll fast forward through this. I don't think anybody needs the scripting. You'll see here I get a special cool little shoulder padded chest plate. It's shoulder pads. It's the 90s. This is like, what, 91? So this came out around the time of Final Fantasy II in America. And so that's part of the reason I like to do the stage second. So we can skip over this guy because we've got the dash there. Look how much faster these stages go because you can just dash through them. No thank you, I say, to getting the dash last. Nay, nay. Now these I love. This is another staple in the X series. You'll see several of these in the upcoming installments of the X games. And typically, I wouldn't go out of my way just to get a little... Come on. My power... Why is my coordination not working? But this is, like I said, one of the more difficult bad guys. So I don't mind taking time. So you might notice X does not take damage when he's in the ride armor, or the mech. It has its own set of HP, I guess you could say. And after it exceeds that threshold, it will no longer be functioning. It'll blink a few times and explode. But we don't have to worry about that just yet. Alright. So Sting Chameleon, he's got a gnarly set of tricks. Those spikes that were falling from the ceiling, I think, come down in a randomized order. So you just kind of have to try to be reactionary. And then, of course, when he's invisible, he is invincible. So the best thing you can do is try to lure him to one side, dash to the other, and then hit him. Oh, Jesus. Damn it. Come on. There. I'll do that a couple times. I don't think I've ever seen him do it more than 3. Oh, there's another thing in this game you might hear referred to as dash lemons. As you can see, Mega Man's little bullets are lemon-shaped. And if you dash and shoot at somebody, you can do more than just a single bit of damage. It's like hitting him with a mid-level charge shot without charging anything. You're just dashing. Yeah, see, like, that's way, I think, 2. Oh shit. I shouldn't have charged. See, the dash lemon would have been better. Got him. Got him. Sid Jake would already have this game done by now, by the way. And it looks like, Sinistar, you are Marco Poloing at the moment as we speak, so it's a bit meta. Alright, so next I like to come to Storm Eagle. Let's see, Sting Chameleon. Who does his weapon kill? Oh, no, okay, so after you beat Sting Chameleon, a lot of people do come to Storm Eagle. Convention would dictate that would be the order, as Storm Eagle is weak to Sting Chameleon's weapon. So as mentioned earlier, getting the armor upgrade is one reason I like to do Sting Chameleon early. I have not discussed the other one. That's what the heart capsule looks like, by the way. I have not discussed the other reason yet. I will explain that after the next stage. The other reason for having done Sting Chameleon stage so early on. There's a really, really cool glitch in the game also. I wasn't going to try it because I haven't done it in a while, and it's a speed strat that you don't really need to do. Called the Magic Carpet. Anyway, not important. I really shouldn't have mentioned it. Excuse me. I always love that the little sonic explosion from defeating that bad guy busted out all the window panes. There we go. Also, big love to ROTF Landmine, a good friend of the therapy way back in the day, who was just a beast, an absolute maniac when it came to running this game. He would say "mad lad." Of course, he would never say that about himself. He was way too humble. But if he's still out there, I hope you're watching and I miss you. And if he is still out there, go follow him. Tell him he still needs to get the world record. He might already hold the record for this. I don't know. He was really good, that's what I'm saying. So here's the helmet upgrade. Pretty cool, pretty satisfying. There's only so many places in the game that have breakable blocks for your dome. So its utility is limited, but better than the helmet in X2 and 3. I gotta remember what 3 did. It was shortcut here. Oh, I didn't point this out. When I was defeating the guy behind all the windows that broke, I got this thing. This is called a sub-T or a sub-tank. If your life is full and you get a life upgrade or a thing to replenish your life, it goes in there to use later. Mega Man X does not have E-tanks like Mega Man does. We have sub-tanks, and there are 4 in the game. Okay, come on. If I were speedrunning, with the exception of whatever happened at the opening of this fight, that was wonderful. One dive, no eggs. Storm Eagle has this weird thing where he'll like vomit up a bird egg that hatches into 4 birds when it hits the ground. He didn't do that at all here. And his dive bomb thing that he did, typically he does that several times, so that really was good RNG if you're speedrunning. It seems wasted that I'm not. Okay, so now we're going to do Flame Mammoth. And Flame Mammoth is weak to Storm Eagle's weapon. So again, convention would have us fighting this guy next anyways. So as you can see, even right here, the floor is covered in a thick layer of ice. Now Sinistar, before you say fuck every ice level ever, this is completely inconsequential. It does not slide or anything like that. But as you can see at the bottom, everything is frozen. Had we not defeated Chill Penguin, this would all be a river of lava that would spew upwards in large towers and do large damage. So, let's see, what was that? That was... Okay. There we go. Here is the 4th capsule. So we had one for the legs, one for the body, one for the head, and this one is for the X-Buster. This gives you a 3rd level of charge shots, which does decent damage. It'll always give you the, there you go, the trial run. The cool thing about this is you can switch to powered up versions of the weapons that you already have. So, this is the other reason I like to go to Sting Chameleon. Sting Chameleon had the ability to turn invisible and become invincible, and thusly, while not invisible, you can become invincible for a short period of time. And I say short, but it's actually kind of a considerable little amount of time, and it doesn't use too much of your weapon's energy. So by getting this ability rather early on, you know, in the first half of the game, I can now kind of charge through the rest of the game considerably faster than if I had to destroy a bunch of dudes and baddies. I can just run through them. And then of course, every time you start a new stage, your weapon's energy is replenished. So there's a little bit of strategy if you're trying to speedrun, excuse me, for when and where to use the invisibility thing, but for the purposes of not speedrunning, I'm not too concerned. Excuse me. And then let's see, what are we doing? Right. So yeah, the stage made much easier thanks to that invisibility. And again, you can only do that once you've gotten the arm upgrade. So this guy's pretty cool. He'll throw out these things. If you get him to shoot the little oil slick like an idiot he's missing, the oil slick will turn into a pool of fire. He missed. He's a turd. Alright, so after that guy, I think we can go ahead and start back up with... We'll do Spark Mandel next. There is a missable item here. Well, there's several, I guess, in any stage, technically. But there's one item we do not have the right weapon to go and get. Okay, so you can see the background here is kind of damaged. And that is because we beat, I think it was Storm Eagle. If you don't beat Storm Eagle, the stage looks a little crisper, cleaner. And then these light tubes are, well, you'll see what I'm saying in a second. You can see that they're broken. Some of them aren't, and the floor is a little bit more like electrified. And I don't know why I am taking the time to kill things. So yeah, I guess maybe there is no electric floor now. We beat him. So yeah, if you don't beat Storm Eagle and come to this guy, and the floor at the beginning when they're standing on like those glass tubes, the floor would be electrified from time to time. Sorry, words. And then switch over here. Nice little mid-stage boss. This tornado weapon is wildly effective on a certain number of baddies. It takes 10,000 hits if you don't have it. Right. I don't think I'm going to use any more of my invisibility powers just yet. I'm going to wait for a sec. Yeah. I always get this spot mixed up with the spot later on in the game. So you can get that with, as I just did, that little C jump. I call them C jumps because it's crescent shaped, or C shaped, doesn't matter. Probably a waste. I think we're at the end of the stage. There we are. This is one of the easier fights in the game. I probably shouldn't have said that until I've beaten the guy. So now that I've claimed this to be an easy fight, I'll probably get my shit wrecked. Fire too early. Sometimes he has those iframes like that. Sometimes he doesn't. Shit remains unwrecked. Well done. Well done. Also, not important at all, I've put the camera at the lower left portion of the screen. I typically like to be at the top right, but as you can see, there are some health meters up there, and not a lot happens at the lower side of the screen on the left. So, not important, but, you know, of note. Alright, so after Spark Mandrill, we're going to come to Armored Armadillo, and perhaps one of my favorite video game stages of all time. We end up having to do the stage a number of times throughout the game, for reasons I'll explain later. But this one is fun, as the majority, probably the majority, I don't know, of the game involves riding these little minecart looking things. Wait for him. There's the... Have I only gotten two? Three. Three of the four sub-tanks. The fourth sub-tank was actually in the stage we just did, but like I said, we don't have the weapon for it. I don't think I needed to do that there, but that's okay. It's just a little bit of wasted energy. This is where I should have used it, because there's all those bats. Okay. this really is OP. See, and then every time you get like energy boost, it's just there for you. Here's the heart upgrade. So if you don't go in front of that tank that's destroying everything, his arms are tall enough, the tank, that he destroys, like you can see there, chunks of the ceiling. So if you don't destroy him before he gets to that heart, or if you don't go ahead of him, you can miss the heart. I've just played this game enough to know where to place the bullets. Big secret right there later on. And here goes Spark. This is also a really cool bad guy. The fact that, you know, he's an armadillo that they've armored and he tunnels through things is just dope. Armadillos, for being as creepy as they are incredibly cool, and I love them. So you hit him with the Spark and he loses his armor. If you didn't do that, you can't really hit him with anything else, and he covers up whenever you shoot at him. So in ridding him of his armor, this becomes much easier. You can charge, try to time it, and hit him. Just that. What a great game this is. I know Press B to Cancel has been doing our top 100 games of all time. I struggle so much with categories like that. I much prefer to think of it as games to play before you die. And this is... I don't even know if this is on my list or who beat me to it, but I'm pretty sure... I mean, obviously this game is on there. It was probably mine, if not, probably Chard's. I don't think Jake likes Mega Man. And Sinistar, I'm making this video for you, so I don't think this is probably part of your library. So, Armored Armadillo, we will now go to Launch Octopus. And we're about halfway through the game, I'd say. Maybe close. Unless you want to say after the 8 bad guys is the midway point, but whatever. You can cheese the back half of this game somewhat easily, so I'd like to say we're about halfway. I don't think I need to, but let's... Oh yeah, you can even run over spikes. Mega Man spikes are always like insta-death. So to be able to run over those is fun and novel. And I think I can do this. The thing is, we use the tornado quite a bit in this stage, so I'm not going to waste too much energy on it. Let's just... If there is a quicker way to beat that thing, I don't know it. I've always just used regular lemons or tornadoes. There's probably a better way to do it. This one can be tricky. If he catches you, the little suction action thing, in a weird time, he'll suck you into the spikes. Now, jumping as those little torpedo swimmy things coming at you will cause them to change their direction. That's why they switched when they did. Good, extra life. As far as water stages go, this one's not bad. Alright, so let's just keep tornadoes equipped for a minute. And this makes no sense. Falling faster than the thing catches up? I don't know. Another perk to the tornado right there. Those guys have a considerable but not overly large HP. So to be able to one-shot them is fun. I'm going to fire that back there and start charging this guy up. Because the next thing, the next bad guy, is another one of those sea serpents. He'll show up right under you, but he does give you a little bit of a warning. You can see the dust kick up. There you go. Got him. This is getting, yeah, the ending is here, so I'm not going to worry about going invincible again. We'll just switch over to... I don't want to go in there with a super-powered or charged up rolling shield. You'll see what that does later. I won't ruin it for you now. This is probably the most difficult fight of the game without the proper weapons. Now you can... Well, I don't have the right weapon. Later on there's a weapon you get that's like a boomerang, and you can cut off his extra tentacles using those. I never do, because I don't, I don't really worry about them. But it's a fun little thing that you can do. Okay, come on. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, if you don't have the rolling shield, this is a pretty difficult fight. And then the next guy, Boomer Kwanger, because we all know what a Kwanger is, animal-wise. Or non-animal-wise. Anyway, the next guy is probably the second hardest fight, followed by Sting Chameleon, who I think would be third, just with the standard blaster. Alright, so the 8th of 8, right here. And then once we get his weapon, we'll go and do a little bit of a cleanup so that we can start the Sigma stages. Am I pronunciating that? I feel like I am. Sigma? Sigma? Anyway, this is a really good stage to have the invincibility cloak, whatever, for. Yeah, there's a lot. It's a very vertical stage. And they pack those hallways full of more bad guys than that hallway fight in Daredevil. So I'm going to conserve my Chameleon Sting. I typically go ham with it and just, devil may care. But since we're not speedrunning, I'll just do it this way. Never take damage here, what the hell? Yeah, very vertical stage. And this is one of my least favorite sections of the whole game. It's just kind of obnoxiously... Oh. I don't know. What the hell? Sorry, not a fan of when that happens. This is why I am emulating this. I've got the cartridge. I never really feel that bad emulating the game if I own the cart. I should probably edit that out. But I'm playing this with the NES Pro Pad or whatever controller, and it's kind of cutting out on me. So yeah, this is what the hell. I'll be moving in a direction, and it just stops my forward progress. There we go. Okay, before I do X2 and X3, I'm going to go back and charge this thing. I'm afraid it's going to die. Okay, so I'm going to switch to here. This is the easy way of doing this. There is a much more difficult way of doing this that does not require the... I'm not going to try it here. Does not require the sled. You can do it with just the leg upgrade, but it is like pixel perfect. I've done it maybe once, but I did it on stream that one time, so it counts. But I haven't practiced this game in probably 2 years now, so... and this is a game that I maybe one day had an idea of learning the speed strats and getting it done. But the game is so fun to play through. And the speed strats, I would have to be the 100% category. I always have to 100% these games. It's almost like a compulsion with the Mega Man and Mega Man X games. I don't know. It's so competitive, the speedrunning X community. So yeah, if you don't have these little homing missiles that we got from the octopus guy, This fight can take a minute. It's not overly difficult because this guy doesn't jump or come off with the ground ever. He just sporadically phases in and out. And if you don't have a homing thing to track him down, you're really just standing there waiting for him to hopefully phase close to you, but not too close that he can grab you. So that's just the cheese strat right there. I will say this. The game is terribly unbalanced when it comes to, like, hey, let's give him the heart things, let's give him the weapons upgrades, let's give him the capsule upgrades. So by the time you have everything, you really are like a straight up force. Almost unfairly so. And I do want to clarify, that's not a complaint. I love this game. Okay, so we're going to go back to Sting Chameleon. If you remember, we were not able to get his heart container early on. Or her. I don't actually know Sting Chameleon or if these robots have genders. I know Mega Man does, because, you know, the name. And with the Mega Man series, we had Roll, who was, I guess, female. So, but with the animals, I don't know if they are... We should shut up. There we go. So as you can see, there's water in the stage now. And that is because we beat Launch Octopus. So once we beat Launch Octopus, the lore or whatever goes that the stage floods. So here we go. Okay. So there's Sigma with his little Elvis lip. It's fun. Where are we going next? We're going to go back to here. If you remember early on, I had said we were not able to get the heart capsule from here. We can do that now. We could have gotten it a while ago, but I like to just do all the cleanup stuff for the housekeeping at the very end. And now that we've got the invisibility shield or whatever, this becomes so much easier and faster. This is also a wonderful stage for filling up your sub-tanks. There's only one stage I would say better than this for filling up the sub-tanks, but you'll see that here in a few moments. Yeah, look at this. I mean, we're flying through this shit now. Okay. Fire. What? That was the controller thing that I was talking about earlier. That was embarrassing. We're not too far away. No, stop that. I think I figured out what is causing that. And I'm gonna have to fix it. I'm sorry. 2 seconds. Hopefully this doesn't ruin anything. Configuration. We have to allow diagonals. We didn't do that. So anyway, once you have the fire weapon, things get much easier when it comes to burning down those guys. Okay, so we'll escape. We have this escape unit thing, which I love the X series for. Did I do that right? Is that right? Allow up and right, down, right and down. Up and down, no, we don't want that. So no, never mind. That's not what we wanted. That's allowing two different things at once. Never mind. I don't know what's going on. I'm in kook pants. So we gotta come back here. We're gonna get that fourth sub-tank. And then I think we're done with all the upgrades. Yeah, we've got 2 levels of HP higher than our weapons storage, our weapons energy. So that means we've got all the hearts. Then we got 4 sub-tanks, we got all the weapons, we've got all the tube upgrades, body upgrades from the... Yeah. So here, earlier I said we have to do this stage a number of times. We really only have to technically run through it twice. I think total you have to beat it 5 times. I know that probably doesn't sound sensible. Oh. Okay. So that didn't work the way it should have. That's alright. I really hope this controller doesn't die on me. I don't have a backup plan. If it does... You really, I mean, I've done this stage enough times throughout my youth that I don't really need to have the invisibility thing, but I do find that I've gotten used to it. I abuse it when I do the damage shuffler thing that I was telling you about earlier that Sick Jake gave me, just because if you can be invincible, you know, the randomizer's not that much of a challenge. So I have gotten used to maybe spamming it a little too much. Oops. And then for anybody who heard me talk about this earlier, this is the annual birthday video game request for Sinistar. I'm recording this in September as I'm about to move, and this computer might go into storage for a month or so, and I don't want to cut it close. So happy birthday, Sinistar. Last year we did Circus Charlie as a blind run. Yes, that's Circus Charlie. So it's good to be playing a game that's quality. Okay, so that was the second time we had to beat the stage. Technically, you have to make it to this little cliff. I think it's 5 times. When I was a kid, I would just use the escape unit thing that we used earlier and redo that stage every time. And I found out, while streaming from a speedrunner, probably landmines, if you just die, you can respawn here and it will still count. Where that information was in my youth, I don't know. I'm not overly mad about it because, like I said, this is a pretty fun stage. We'll call that 3. Not necessary. I don't think I did that last time, but just to be safe, because if you end up touching one of that tank's arms with the spikes, it's insta-death. Ooh, I don't want to do that. Shit. I think you have to finish the stage with full health also. So I'm not happy that I took damage there. So if you, the other thing is not just beating this stage 5 times to get the secret, is you have to have all of the upgrades for everything. You have to heretofore completed everything 100%, collected all the items, and then finished the stage 5 times, I'm pretty sure, with full health, in order to get this last thing. But I don't want to talk about too much. I'd rather just show it to you if you don't know what it is. And Sinistar, you've seen me do my charity fundraiser things enough to know a lot about this game. Yeah, back when I was doing streams as the Retro Therapy, I would do, you know, annually or semi-annually Cystic Fibrosis Foundation fundraisers, which were always so much fun and successful. Here we go. But I would play X1 through 3 or X1 through 4, and then Mega Man 1 through 6. So this is a special hidden thing. If you look at Dr. Light, he's not in his lab coat. He's in a karate gi, or dogi, depending on what you prefer. And it's from Ryu, or Ken, but probably Ryu, from Street Fighter. This was the stuff of Legends when I was a kid. Now, when this came out, I did not have Nintendo Power Magazine, nor did we have the internet. And this is something I heard people talk about, but I thought was just kind of like, there's no way that's real. And I can't do it because my diagonals are not working. Give me just a sec, I gotta figure this out. Hotkeys, is it hotkeys? No. Configuration. Okay. Hopefully that's right. Shows you how often I play this way. So, okay, there we go. That's why it was stopping my forward progress earlier. I was not properly configured. Okay, so the Hadouken. In order to be able to fire it, you execute the same command patterns that you have from Street Fighter. Down, down, forward, and then Y, or whatever button you have for shooting. So you can do it that way. Or as you're charging, you do the down to forward and then release the charge. I didn't know about that for some time. That's a little bit more of a reliable way. Okay, that's also a good way to confirm that you have all the items. If you've beaten the stage however many times and the capsule still isn't there, you don't have to select his image, because to try to actually press up and diagonal like at the right time to get that is not the easiest thing. It's not hard, but I'm extra that way. Anyway, I like to select him and his picture when doing that. Okay, so here, if you were not happy with me when I said we were halfway through earlier, this is the halfway point. We're infiltrating Sigma's base. I probably shouldn't have skipped through what Zero was saying. Zero's going on ahead, which they have a tendency to do. Never turns out too good for them. The best weapon for this area I always find to be the homing torpedoes. Okay. And then you can do the whole set of platforms. I prefer to just choose it that way. And let's use another thing. I probably should be saving these. The Chameleon Sting is the most important weapon for the Sigma stages, I would say. And it's not even close. Use it on a staggering number of boss fights and bad guys here. There's a cool little way to skip this little scene. If you're doing speed strats, doesn't matter here. But Vile, who you might remember from the beginning, is the first boss. I love that there's all this action happening off screen. You hear everything that's happening, and then it's silence, and you're like, okay, who won? What happened? Ah, shit. So if you remember Vile at the beginning of the game, we couldn't beat him. Zero shows up, blasts his arm off right away, not a big deal. He must have gotten some sort of upgrades if he captured Zero just that quickly. Now, when you're doing a speed run, you want to show up to this fight with low health, so that you don't have to stand there and let him do this. This is so frustrating during the damage randomizer thing. So every time he hits you, and you've got to get your life down to whatever that is, 5 or 6 health pellets. It sucks. This game is really tough. This is probably the hardest game, or most frustrating, on the damage shuffler, just for that. There's too many places that require you to take damage. So Zero jumps on Vile's back, charges, big explosion. The Mandalorian survives. And I'm sorry, can we also just all appreciate how awesome shoulder-mounted cannons look? I mean, Vile, War Machine, just all the greats. Oh yeah, the Hadouken kills anything with one hit. I forgot to mention. I don't want to drop my mic. This is an expensive mic. So, Zero is dying, which is a shame. As a kid, I'm like, oh my god, Zero's the coolest fucking character of all time. There are ROM hacks for the X series where you can play as Zero instead of X, and they're fun for anybody who grew up idolizing Zero or wishing we had more Zero. Zero also has their own like playable missions in X4, and then you can briefly be Zero in X3, which you'll see when we get to that. And if you did not find the arm upgrade that was in Flame Mammoth's stage, the game forces you to get it from Zero. So if you don't get the upgrades, Zero gives you their booster, or their arm cannon upgrade. And this thing fucking beeves. That's right, I'm a DC fan, y'all can suck it. Have the movies been great? Not all of them. Did I enjoy The Flash? I thought it was fun. Could it have been better? Yeah. So here's the thing. I don't have enough energy to do a Hadouken. Instead of killing randos to try to get the little bit of power that I need, I could use a full sub-tank, but I'm not going to. I think I'm just going to... Oh wait, no, not that. I think I'm just going to be standard. Okay. No, sorry. This is Boomer Quanger. I was thinking it was Chill Penguin. Don't tell my son I had to beat Chill Penguin. Penguins are like his steez. He loves penguins. We went to the zoo over the summer. He was like, I don't think he meant to shit talk the penguins, But he was talking to the penguins because he's a sweet kid. And he's like, hey, how are you guys doing? And then we're leaving. He was like, it was really cool to see you. Sucks that you're in captivity. I don't think he said captivity. I think he said, like, sucks you got caught or something like that. But either way, proud of that boy. Alright, so here there are a number of easy to kill baddies. So I'm just gonna... There we go. This is the toughest of the non-Maverick fights for a number of reasons. But if you can pull off a Hadouken, it's awesome. And you feel accomplished. So, those little green bars come out, and the spider, it will go from side to side using those bars. And it always takes the option to move if it can. So it's starting on the right. I know it'll have one at the bottom, and then one, and then one. So I should move over here, fire that off, and there we go. If you can kind of take a snapshot of it, pause the game before it starts to move, this thing sometimes will poop out other little spiders, and you never want that to happen the first round, or it'll move like super fast. And so we got very lucky here. That was an easy enough pattern to remember. I knew I just needed to not be on the left side. Dashed over, executed, whatever. Big deal. Nailed that. I always love the color of, like, the color palette of this stage. The music's pretty good. One thing I do truly appreciate about the X series are the soundtracks. But this is the classic, like, giant layer built into the side of a mountain with a giant glass, viewing window. Also, here's a question we can have a discussion about. Leave your comments in the comment section, or at me on our Press Me to Cancel Discord page. Do you think the soundtrack is being pumped through the stereos at this place? Like, do you think this is just the track that Sigma has blasting, just like throughout the day? I like to think so, but who knows? Is this something that only Mega Man X can hear in his little helmet? So we got Vile, we did the spider, we didn't do Boomer Quanger with the Hadouken, but we did get Chill Penguin, so pretty decent stats right there. So we can kill that guy and jack his ride armor, or we can just try to get through this. Oh, okay, never mind. I don't know what is being cooked in my household right now, but it smells delicious. So I very much want to try to Hadouken this next boss. I'm going to do this. There we go. And then I should also try to replenish some of my special weapons energy. Sorry, I know we're not speedrunning. It's fine. Oh, shit. And that's the downfall. If you suck like I suck. I think the final two bosses on this stage both are weak to Chameleon Sting. So, hopefully we can Hadouken Storm Eagle here. Got it, okay. So this, I didn't do it, but this is one of the instances where charging a little bit and then doing the down forward, release like this is easier than what I was doing. Here's another place that's got some easy to kill bad guys that'll respawn. I think I've got 4 full... No, why is it not filling up my 4th sub-tank? Okay. I'll give me some sting, so I'm okay there. So during the Sigma stages, in between stages, I don't think your weapons energy replenishes. So you do have to be a little bit strategic with that. I'm a little miffed that the fourth sub-tank isn't filling up. But that's alright. That's what happens. Okay. So there's different colored eyes. The green ones stay... Oh shit. Okay. Oh fuck. I'm not doing anything. Stay put. The blue ones will move. And then I forget about the red ones. But if you can get a blue one to come down toward you, you can Hadouken them. So this is, I guess technically, while you can one-hit kill the eyes, this is not a one-hit kill boss. And you don't want to hit the nose too many times like I just did. I thought I had one more. Now I've got to do this. I've got to stay on the wall. Oh, fuck. What's that? Yeah. Kids, this is the exact wrong way to fight this boss. Don't be like me. Don't be like GP. God. Don't ever refer to yourself in the third. GP apologizes. That was horrible. So cringy. One time I remember a number of years ago, when I was streaming, I couldn't think of the word viewers or whatever, so I used the word fans, and immediately it, like, felt wrong coming out of my mouth, like saying, oh, there's just some shit you don't do. But you can recall it, 3 years later, and, oh, maybe your weapon's energy does replenish. I was wrong. See, I've played this game a million times, but there's still things to learn. Now, there is a really cool trick to defeating... This is Armored Armadillo, never mind. We can Hadouken this guy, but we still have to strip him of his armor first. I was thinking of Steam Chameleon. There is a way to... Oh, we didn't... That's alright. I don't want to waste this up. This guy's easy. There's a way to Hadouken Steam Chameleon. His first movement is so predictable every time. I think he has to go to that corner and start doing his stuff from the upper corner of the stage. Sorry. Ugh. The issue is you can't jump into a Hadouken, and you have to go all the way to the top. So there is a way to jump up to like the top left side of the screen, release a charged ice sled shot, and then while standing on that, switch over to your regular blaster and hit him with a Hadouken. We could try it, but I don't think I've ever done it. Or maybe I should do that lie I like to tell. I did it once, and everybody was watching, so I never tried it again. Okay, I want to try something. I can't even select that fourth tank. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to try it here. But there is his weakness right here. This is a fun way to kind of cheese the fight if you can get the timing set up correctly, which I think we can. Yeah. So we're like 90% of the way done with the game. We've got a couple final fights, and then the big Sigma fight. Yeah, something's kind of wonky with this game. I got hit by one of those spikes that fell, but it's still showing my HP is full, so... Yep, still reads it as full. So, once again to prove, if it's not cartridge, it can be crap sometimes. That said, I do love my blender damage randomizer. There we go. It's not gonna... Okay. That's alright. And here... We can Hadouken this dude. But we're gonna freeze him first. Pull this off. Got it. That was close too. That was much closer than it should have been. He doesn't always do the like electric ball thing that he just did, but I guess that's a risk to take. Okay. And this is fun. What? We have ever taken damage from these guys. That sucked. This guy used to be very difficult, but there's a very easy way to get the Hadouken on him. Fire once, and then let it rip. I wish somebody had shown me that when I was a kid. All you have to do is fire one lemon, takes care of that bottom fish, and then Hadouken him, and you're fine. So while not a perfect round of Hadoukening, decent. We've got this guy. He's never too hard. I shouldn't have gotten hit like I did, or, knocked down. But... Now, the next fight is the last fight before the Sigma fight. I get a nickel every time I say fight. Anyway. This guy's kind of hard to Hadouken. I don't know if his opening movements are always the same. I feel like they're not. But essentially, I'm going to stand on this platform. Yeah, he's going to drop me. Sometimes he'll move diagonally, and that is what you're going for. You want to be on the bottom platform, standing down there, and then he'll come at you from the top left to the bottom right, and then if you're standing at the right spot, you can pull off the Hadouken. That's not something I've only done once. It's just, I don't know how to force his movements. That really is a horrible thumbnail or photo of Sigma with the completely blued out eyes that just look like giant teardrop cataract looking contact lenses things. Also, I don't know what's up with the lip curl. I don't know why they've given him that as like a feature. I think he maintains it. I know he does in the second one. I assume the third one as well. Maybe they meant for it to be a smirk, but it certainly comes off different. Okay. I'm over here. Hadouken. We're good. This is one of my favorite things to try in the game is to Hadouken Sith Lord. Here we go. Sith Lord Sigma. Got him. Because it's always a close call. And I never know how it's going to end. Oh, jeez. That's sexy. My wife just sent me a picture of the dinner that she's cooked. Thank you, baby. And if we weren't on the last fight, I would be like, alright, I'll re-record this tomorrow. So basically, the only part that can do damage, or take damage, I'm sorry, on Sigma is his dome. And I think the only thing that can hit him is your regular buster with the lemon, or this weapon. You can try to pull off a Hadouken, but the angle's never right, so you can't hit him with a Hadouken. And everything he does takes massive damage away from you, or does massive damage to you, so it's best to try to just get it done. And then whenever you can, I don't even like to risk it. So I'm about to fall in that fire, and that fire does a lot of damage. Okay, cool. Got it. Fall into it. And that's the game. Now, I could just turn it off because I'm hungry and I want to go eat this amazing meal. But it's worth watching the ending of this game. The song that plays is an absolute banger in that kind of sad, melancholic, awesome way, like the opening of Mega Man 3 or the Dr. Light capsule song. Somebody want to put a trap beat on that? That'd be great. This can be my new ringtone. anybody ever calls me or texts me, this is what's going to happen. So yeah, that's X1. Happy birthday, Sinistar. I guess if I had to break that up into 3, because we're doing 3 games, I would just say hap. Or ha. So there's that. You can read all this stuff. It's kind of introspective for X. I think Zero joins him here in a minute. No, wait, Zero's dead. And then there's a little post-credit scene. That's right, X did it in 91, 17 years before Marvel came around. And Sigma pops up on like a TV, letting you know Sigma's not dead. So. And then they took certain plot elements from X1 for the overall plot to X2, and I do enjoy that. We'll explain that, or explore that, either later tonight or sometime tomorrow when I play through X2. I do often go back and forth between which game I think is better, X1 or X2. I think ultimately X1 has to win by a very slight margin. X2 is really quite the accomplished sequel. So anyway, that said, Sinistar, love you. Everybody who's watching on Press B to Cancel, thanks for following along, and I will look forward to talking to you all soon. Bye.